My name is Elias. I graduated in 2023, and I've been a Baker Boy all 3 years of my time at Huntington. Community means to me, it's similar to a family. There's trust, there's love, and there's a bond that goes through one another that surpasses just acquaintanceship and friendship. It's people that you can go to in your time of need and rely on them, and then you're able to help them as well.
My name is Kevin Gorman. I was a 2024 graduate of Huntington University. I was a Baker second boy for 3 years. What community means for me is a family, and a family of people that check in with each other and care for each other, laugh with each other, and really put an effort into getting to know people and to enjoy being with them.
My name is Tyler Bradley. I am a junior this year, and I was a Baker boy for 2 years. Community it's a very weird thing. I think it's different things for a lot of different people. For me, it's like the ability for other people to group around somebody who is struggling or in need, or even if they're happy and uplifting, like uplifting the person who is down and celebrating with those who are up.
Thad Arnold. I graduated December 2024, and I was a Baker boy from about January 2021 to December 2024. So about a little over 3 years, ended up being about 8 semesters in total. For me, I think community is relationship, just on a bigger scale, or I guess a better way to say it would be a relationship is a smaller community. It's a place where people can work together and belong together, and collaborate, but be, kind of like more than the sum of their parts.
My name is Hudson. I'm a senior, and I was a Baker boy for 3 years. Community, I think, to me means like a sense of togetherness, right? Where everyone is comfortable going to anyone else for any given thing. Whether that's an event, and getting together to have fun, watch a movie, work on a project together, whatever it is, or, even being able to kind of work through problems or hardship with each other and kind of be able to support each other in that kind of a way. I feel like that's kind of what community really means.
My name is Elliot Martin. I graduated in 2024, and I was on Baker second for 3 years. Community is a sense of togetherness. I think that whenever you have some sort of community, it's really beautiful because you're able to connect with other people, whether that be the same age or different ages. You're able to just connect and have togetherness with a group of people.
My name is Josh Thomas. I'm a senior, and I've been a Baker boy for all 4 years. Community for me is like a bunch of people who, maybe we don't all have the same major or whatever, but like we can just chill, hang out together. We can, just have random conversations about the weirdest things, or, play games, but I guess it's just a group of people that's like just comfortable to be around.
My name is Micah McFadden, and I graduated in 2023. I was a Baker boy all 4 years, but I was Baker third my freshman year, and then Baker third got shut down as a guys floor. So then I moved down to Baker second and was Baker second for the last 3 years. Community is quality gathering. As a Christian, big thing with community is I think it's ingrained in just our psyche. It is ingrained in who we are because we serve a God that is relational. We serve a God that wants relationship with us. But we serve a God that is 3-in-1. He is already relational by himself. So I think when I think of community, I think a lot about fellowship, and I think a lot about just the relationship between just like how humans were built to be, and we are built for relationship. We're built to do life together in a lot of ways. And we thrive when we do life alongside one another.
I think what made Baker Second a good community was the people. I'll say this all day, but I think that the people who were there and the leaders who were in charge of stewarding the community were the ones who were able to bring that together.
Baker Second was a really solid community when I was there, because there was a lot of intentionality in how we did community, where we really intentionally made sure there was time that we ate dinner together. You know, when we were on the floor, there was life being done together.
Everyone was involved in that. It was very intentional, and there was routine built in at B2 that every day we would go to dinner. That routine built in so that way you're seeing each other more frequently. You're not just in your room and you're not just doing your classes and homework and extracurriculars. You're interacting with one another on the floor, outside of the floor, hanging out, and just being boys.
The best part about Baker Second was the layout, because you had kind of like a huge kind of main area, and then in each of the corners split off into the different suites. And I think what that did was that allowed for just a great big area so that when people walk in, you can instantly say hi to each other. You can, sit on the couch and talk. I think some of the other halls at Huntington, they didn't quite have the same layout, and they were like long hallways. You just didn't get quite a great feeling of, being like you could run into somebody and just kind of sat down and chat in those environments. But I think the layout really, helped strengthen this idea of just being close to each other and being allowed to just, hang out and goof around and in a bigger space.
I think you could see floors in college dorms turn into just like housing, where it's just like, this is where I sleep and this is where I stay, and I don't need to interact because like the rest of my life is outside of this place. But for Baker Second, it really was, there was a lot of life happening on the floor, whether that be events or I think there was just a lot of intentionality put into how we did life with one another, that not a lot of floors experience.
I think just what made Baker Second so special is we just had 3 suites just full of like amazing people who we just chilled. We do fun things together. We just hang out. We'd watch movies. Some crazy antics happened, but really it was the people on the floor that really made it what it was.
The biggest standout moments where I realized that this was like a community that I could get behind and would get behind me was like, we had this like Baker camp out kind of thing where we go out in the woods and, make a fire and roast marshmallows and, talk. And I was able to open up about some pretty heavy things that had happened in the past few years and why I was kind of afraid to come to Huntington. It was a very vulnerable thing for me to bring forward, which is why I'm happy that when I told everyone what had happened, they were very responsive and they, welcomed me.
The purpose of Baker Camp Out was kind of to essentially break the ice, right? So going to this camp out kind of allowed you to actually have an event to get everyone together, right? Where everyone can come along and just have fun at this one thing, make hot dogs, make s'mores, just have fun. But then what really helped was at kind of later into the night, we would share testimonies of kind of like our journey in our lives as Christians. And to me, that's what really helped, because it helped me understand kind of who everyone was, what their stories were, what their hardships were in life that they're dealing with, and it kind of allowed me to grow closer with everyone while not even necessarily knowing everyone yet. at the time. That was very touching for me because I was still kind of struggling a lot in that moment, still trying to figure out like what things were right for me, if college was right for me, and that just kind of helped set aside all of my personal struggles at the time and kind of essentially ask for help in a way without really asking for it, because everyone else now kind of knows like, oh, hey, like you're kind of struggling with this kind of thing is normal, you know, and it's very understandable to, you know, kind of be scared about like these next 4 years and kind of what's going to happen, and like we'll kind of help you through it. And that's essentially kind of how Baker was really introduced to me, and kind of what allowed me to really kind of get ingrained into the Baker second culture.
I think all of us were really just great. We're really friendly. We were very inviting. We were all very accepting of each other. And I think that what that did is just kind of strengthen our bond together. And I think that's kind of the best part about it, of Baker. It's just kind of all of us just really accepting each other of who we are and, you know, just strengthening a bond.
If there's not people there who are willing to step out and be themselves and be open to joining hands and coming together, then there will be no community, because there's no people to do that. And I really believe that there was just a solid group of guys who were really intentional about wanting to come together and wanting to take on life together.
Baker Second was an interesting floor in a lot of ways because there were guys on the floor that weren't Christian, and there were guys on the floor that were Christian. And I think that led to a lot of really, really real conversations. I think I had some of the most important conversations about my faith just late at night with guys on the floor, just in conversation, and just in casual conversation too. Like it didn't need to be like this like really heavy thing. It was something that was normal. And I think like that made Baker second culture really cool too, was like we could all just be sitting around in like one of the suites and something get brought up, and then that's just the conversation. And that was really helpful with my faith because I was able to talk to people that, you know, were super deep in their faith and like great representations of Christ. But I was also able to have really great conversations with people who were either doubting their faith or like they're like, yeah, I gave up my faith a long time ago. Like I am not a Christian. I would not consider myself a Christian anymore. And there wasn't like this uncomfortable, like, you know, it was like we can have an adult conversation and just like be real and be authentic.